Were you born with ovaries or any of the female genitalia?
I was born with ambiguous genitalia. I had a penis, and then I had like a pseudo-vagina opening, but they went ahead and closed that up and let me move on. I'm a boy.
If you were alone in a room with an intersex person, what would you ask?
Is there a specific bathroom that you prefer to use?
Have you ever been fetishized?
What sex is like for you?
Ooh.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Johnny. Nice to meet ya.
Wait a minute. Something is very familiar here.
Yeah. Did you go to Federal High?
I totally did. Nice to hear from you
Yes,
again.
nice to hear
Other
from
side
you
of the
too.
curtain.
So overall, for a person like me who's very ignorant on the topic,
Someone who doesn't really know much about individuals who are intersex.
What is intersex?
Ooh, yeah. So intersex is an umbrella term that is able to explain lived experiences of people who have bodily variations. And that can go to chromosomes, it goes to genitalia, it goes to hormones. There's like 40 different intersex traits that are just like on the books. And
listen, I'm gonna be on that. I'm doing my research.
a lot of people didn't even know that their intersex trait is an intersex trait, but share the experience of intersex people. It's such a wide range.
Is that similar to being hermaphrodite?
Yes, but what we do with that word, we don't typically use that word in our community. It's more of a slur by non-intersex people said, but intersex people tend to sometimes use that as a way of reclaiming it and as a way of being really proud and happy about who they are.
The surgery that you mentioned, what kind of surgery is that?
Yeah, so I had a cosmetic surgery when I was younger that was non-consensual that pretty much closed. It's gonna get real weird. Pretty much in the scrotum, there's where testicles drop. Mine had not fully fused at that time, so it was like in the middle stages of being like a labia and scrotum. There was no vaginal canal or anything like that, so they just went ahead and closed that up.
So do you feel that children should be able to wait until the age of consent?
I think that if it's not medically necessary, we should hold off surgery until the age of consent just so that the kid has time to really feel what their body's like.
Have you changed anything about your body that you weren't comfortable with?
I have not yet changed anything on my body. I have been like in the accepting stage of it. I think I've had an internal pressure of like, I need to reclaim my genitals for myself and like be able to put my foot down and say they're mine. And so I've been thinking a lot about gender affirming surgery and vaginoplasties on the books. It's coming, we'll see when.
Do you feel that your parents fully educated you on what intersex is?
I don't feel that at all. My dad didn't know what that was. He felt like he did something wrong. More than anything, like it was his fault that I was intersex.
What are your pronouns?
I use she, her pronouns, they, them pronouns. Pronouns to me is like, they're kind of just fun, you know, move throughout in different spaces.
When did you discover you were intersex?
About when I was 18, I started losing weight. Randomly 50 pounds one week and gain it back the next week. So I went to the doctors and they were like, we need to check a whole bunch of stuff. And then they diagnosed me with having partial androgen insensitivity syndrome. But I don't like saying syndrome because,
Right.
ugh.
And what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so my body is not able to uptake and like receive testosterone signals in the same way. And so my body had a really hard time like fully masculinizing. So my voice didn't really drop. Body hair is pretty limited. I grew breasts when I was 10. It's pretty a trip.
Oh, wow.
When did you realize you were intersex, and then how did that affect you growing up in school?
Growing up through school, I was always seen as an androgynous kid. I had breasts and I went to the boys' locker room. I've been in the girls' locker room. I did it all.
We went to middle and high school together. I don't think you were out as intersex at that point. To what extent were you like keeping yourself hidden as an intersex person? Like, I've also probably been in the locker room at the same time as you.
I didn't even know until I was after high school. Feelings around like my queerness, feelings around like transness, and like I didn't tell nobody, but I dreamed that I was gonna be pregnant and give birth. And so like I've always felt like I was hiding that part, but never the intersex part because I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that you grew breasts when you were younger. Do you still have?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're
Cool.
sure happy with them, always have been.
So I was wondering what sex is like for you.
Ooh, we love a spicy question.
Oh, good.
Different areas feel better for me, but it's kind of the same to a degree. I think I have a little bit more of like what I would call like dissonance of some sort, like a distancing from like my actual genitalia.
Okay.
Like I'm all about the other person.
How does reproduction work for someone who's intersex?
For intersex people, reproduction can be so varied in the way that some people are infertile, some people can have babies that are intersex.
Is there a specific bathroom that you prefer to use or maybe were even forced to use?
Some internal thing told me not to use public restrooms. My whole childhood, I have never once used the bathroom at school. Now I use the women's restroom, but I don't use public restrooms really still.
Have you ever been fetishized for being intersex?
Yeah, actually. Now that you say that, I did sex work when I was younger. I feel like I made myself this fetish in a way and like tailored myself into this fetish of like giving the best of both worlds. Like that's how I sold. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way. Like I knew there was a fetish for quote unquote hermaphrodites or whatever.
With what you were doing, I'm sure that, had to make money some way.
Oh, yep. You already know. Gotta get what you gotta get. It was just like a need more than like, oh, I want to go do this.
What type of people are you sexually attracted to?
Honestly, I feel like I just move with the flow, more leaning mask-centered in general, not men particularly, but anyone who has masculine energy.
Do you disclose that you're intersex on the first date or it's like the 5th date? How does that normally go?
So for dating, honestly, I wear everything on my sleeve. I'm out there open. If you know me, you probably know I'm intersex out the cut.
So what would you say are some of the big goals of the intersex community in terms of like social or political change right now?
I think we've been working on for many years is to end non-consensual intersex surgeries, at least get those pushed back until the age of consent. And another big one that we have is the social education aspect. I have to engage with the medical community very different than the average person. The erasure within just the medical field itself, there are times where doctors have blacked out people's records so they can't actually see what happened. Some doctors don't even know what intersex means. It's interesting to me that you prefer to do surgery on these people when you don't know more about their traits. To hear that doctors are doing this to people consciously, I think trips a lot of people out and like makes them take a step back.
Do you think more people are intersex than we realize?
Oh, hands down, 100% yes. There's more and more traits that we're having discourse about being included, like PCOS. And some other ones, and a lot of people have PCOS. So like,
Yeah.
I truly do believe there's a lot more intersex people. Not everyone has ever tested all of their chromosomes and their hormones and all that stuff.
Right.
So who's to know?
I can actually relate a little bit. Only because I have a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah.
Which means I don't have a regular period. Coming to terms with that condition has definitely been a journey.
How you're talking about it and how you engage with it really reminds me very much so about intersex experiences. Funny, because PCOS is actively discussed and debated whether it's intersex or not as a trait, because it does engage with hormones and production and reproduction.
Intersex affects every aspect of your life. What aspects of your life does it affect that you feel like are not obvious to people who are not intersex?
In day-to-day, really, it's kind of paperwork stuff. It'll say biological sex, male or female, and that's kind of hard to tick. Seeing that every day and seeing you being erased every single day, and now these nonprofits who do LGBTQIA work, but where is the real intersex work? So thinking about intersex experiences and intersex erasure in the day-to-day, intersex people get the least funding out of the whole LGBTQ community as a whole. And then for someone to put intersex on to be more inclusive, but not to do intersex programming, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Do you think that gender politics are becoming overly trendy?
I think the gender identity discourse coming into main stage is so good, but it's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. Cause it's gonna push back against every cultural piece of how we live our lives.
What is the most common mistake that well-meaning people in the general public make in regards to you or intersex people in general?
Very much so wanting the general public to understand that trans has to do with gender identity, whereas intersex has to do with biological biological sex. It's slowly growing, and we see it in media. Intersex is like coming up more and more, but it's not as fast as like the trans explosion, I would say, where like all of a sudden in like 2014, like trans just popped up like kind of everywhere.
Are there things you love about being intersex?
There are so many things I love about being intersex, honestly. Being intersex has put me in a position to challenge people's perspectives. And I think that has been like so eye-opening for myself. Also just like feeling that I embody not just to a strict category. I think there's like some freedom in that.
This is an opportunity for y'all to meet if you
Yeah.
Johnny.
It's been so long. Can you do hugs? Yes.
Nice to meet you. I'm a hugger.
Yes, me too.
Yes, I like the dress.
Thank you. I love these braids. I love this fit. Show up, show out, you know. It's so crazy. I'm just like shook.
Oh, yeah.
The universe really, 10 years.
6th grade band.
Exactly.
We've known each other for
Oh my
half
God,
our
we were
lives.
band kids. What a trip. Like, where else would this happen?
Can we hug again?
Yes, of course.